How does, on a graph, do we show constant change? What does the graph look like? This is the very first question on page 182. Somebody read me their answer. The worst thing that can happen is they'll say that's not quite right. Jacqueline. It is a linear equation. I will accept that. So, what I'm really looking for is a straight line. But I will accept linear because to be linear, it makes a straight line. But it's the exact right answer. Okay. A graph whose points are not connected is discrete. And this is really key because I wrote this question this way on purpose. I said no space between the points to try and fool you a little bit. Because if it's points, it's what? Discrete. But if there's no space between the points, it's continuous. Because, of course, a line is nothing but an infinite amount of points. So that's 3 marks there. Is everybody okay with those 3 answers? I am recording, so by all means you can go back and check on it, and you can hear those definitions or what I am saying again. I'm not going to write it all out again, obviously, because you have that in your notes and in previous videos, right? Okay, let's do some matching. Number 1, D. Number 2, A. Number 3, F. Number 4, C. Number 5, B. Number 6, E. And that is all correct. Now, this one, we had to make that small change. And apparently it was a little confusing because people didn't realize that this A, B, C, and D went with the next questions. I made that pretty clear in the class. And right above, the A, B, C, D, E, F, G went with the next questions. But that's okay. Some of you didn't. That's cool. This one. What values can I put in for X? Anything. Because you can take any X value, square it, multiply by 3, and subtract 4. Yes? So my domain, X is all the real numbers. Right? Because I can put everything in there. But my range is a little weird, isn't it? Because if I put 0 in for X, what's 0 squared? And what's 0 times 3? And what's 0 minus 4? Negative 4. Every other Y value is going to be bigger than negative 4, isn't it? Because all those other numbers are going to square, right? If I put in 1 for X, it's 3 minus 4. Which is negative 1. Everything must be bigger than negative 4. So Y must be greater than or equal to negative 4. Can it be an infinity of numbers? Yes. So Y is still a set of real numbers inside those rules. So that is the one I changed, which is C. Number 8 is a little bit tricky. It goes from 2 meters off the ground to 13. So something is 2 up to 13. And the ride lasts 4 minutes. The other thing is 0 to 4. Which of those is domain? Which of those is the independent variable? Time is the independent variable because the height you are on the ride depends on what point you are on in the ride, yes? When you sit down at 0 seconds, you are not off the ground. You are on the ground. You've all been on roller coasters. So the domain is 0 to 4, which is, where's the domain is 0 to 4? Right there, E. No, because D says domain 2 to 13. The domain is the time. So it is E. Number 9. This line, this is a tricky one again. Notice that the line ends, right? So the domain goes from negative 2 up to positive 4, yes? So the domain is negative 2 to 4. Domain, negative 2 to 4. But we'd better check the range. Negative 5 to 4. So it is A. And this one is, of course, what? B, everything. Because no matter what I put in for x, I can divide it by 2 and add 6. Okay? Everybody cool? Nathan.
How would you put in the, right for the number 7, the range, the bottom one? Because you just put brackets around it to move them, it makes sense here.
For number 7?
Yeah.
Number 7 is C. If you were going to write it, this is set notation. You could also have written it as negative 4 less than or equal to y less than infinity. You could have also written negative 4 infinity round bracket. Is that what you were asking me? I'm not sure. Okay. And then, of course, this you need there because it's all the real numbers, but only with that restriction. Right? Remember how we were talking about height? I can be any height as a human being between the lowest height a human can have to the tallest height a human can have. But everywhere in there, I am all those real numbers. Everybody cool? Everybody cool? Everybody cool? Nobody wishes to ask me a question? Sweet. Describe this scenario. So, the easiest way to get the 3 marks. The easiest way. She rode away from home. Then she sped up. Then she went home. At the same speed she sped up. Easiest way. That's all I need for 3 marks. She rode, she sped up, she went home. It's a review. I'm going to give you 3 marks. If this were a test, this would be one of those out of 4 situations. What shows me you understand? She rode away, she went home. Right? She rode away from home, she went home. That gets you 1 out of 4. She rode away, she sped up, she went home. 2 out of 4. She rode away, she sped up, she went home at the same speed. 3 out of 4. Yes. She rode away at 2 kilometers in 15 minutes. Would we ever give a rate of that? I would. What do we usually give speeds in? Kilometers per hour, right? So I would have said this was 8 kilometers per hour. Because 15 minutes is a quarter of an hour. No, that's cool. That's cool. As long as you showed me your work. So to do that, you would have done 2 divided by 15, right? To get per minute. And then she went 2 to 6. That's 4K in 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes. So that would have been she sped up to 12K an hour. And then she went home at, this is the same steepness as here. So she went home at 12K an hour. That would get you the 4 out of 4. Does everybody understand that scale? It may be coming for you in future math classes. All right? I am going to tell you right now, that is how I am going to mark the open-ended questions on your final exam. The more knowledge you show me, the better off you will be. But it's going to be slightly changed, right? Because if there isn't a possibility to exceed my expectations, you will get 4 out of 4. Do you understand what I'm saying? If I ask you a question like this, what's 3 plus 7? What's the answer? 10. If all of you wrote 10, you would all get 4 out of 4. Because there's no way to exceed my expectations. Does everybody understand what I'm saying? Okay? But if there is a way to exceed my expectations, then you might only get 3 out of 4, even though you have the answer technically correct. Is everybody cool? Okay. So that was out of 3. Did anybody need to discuss why that was rode away, sped up, rode home? Rode away, sped up, rode home. Everybody's good. Why is this a typo? It says distance time. What should it say? Displacement or position. Right? Okay. Is this linear? Yes or no? Yeah. You get 2 marks for each of these. 1 mark for yes. Why? Because it says explain. How do you know this is linear?
Straight line.
It makes a straight line. It goes over 1, up 2, over 1, up 2, over 1, up 2. The rate of change is constant. Lots of definitions there, right? I need one of those to get you, for you to get the whole 2 marks. Cool? Okay. Linear or non-linear? Oh, Rylan, go.
Oh, not linear.
Not linear. Non. Why?
Because it has the exponent.
Right, because it's got an exponent. Because when I change that r, if it's 1, then the area is 3.14, right? It's pi. When it's 2, it's 4 pi, right? Okay, good. And what about this one? Linear. X goes up by 3. Y goes down by 2. X goes up by 3. Y goes down by 2. X goes up by 6. Y goes down by 4. So it is linear. Right? It is the same. Because if this, what's between 4 and 10? 6. Or not 6. We're going by 3s, right? So the next one would be 7. And what's between 1 and -3 is 4 spaces, right? Everybody understand? Right? So it's linear because, again, the rate of change is constant. Over 3, down 2, over 3, down 2, something like that. Everybody cool? Everybody cool? So that's out of 2. So this page is out of 1, 2, 3, 4, and 3 is 7, and 2, 4, 6 is 13. Everybody is good? Okay. Put the domain and range the way I want them. Number line. I never taught you to put it on a number line. Why? Because you know how the number line works. You all had Mrs. Bad Crumble's number line on the wall around the room. Don't say you didn't. I know you did. So the domain are what? X's or Y's? X's. So what are my X values? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Put it on a number line. 0, 1, 2, 3. I know it just went out. Because the light changes behind me. No. The light, okay, dude. When it's the white screen, white light reflects down brightly upon me. When it goes blue, there's a subtle change. And I pay attention to stuff. So, why are all these circled dots? And why is it not that blue line? Why must they be circled dots? Or closed dots? They're included. Why is there no blue line? Because it's discrete. It's not connected. Absolutely right, Helia. Everybody understand? Who dat? Oh, I know. And what's the range? Again, on a number line, we wouldn't write it as, we wouldn't draw the number line vertically, right? We would draw it horizontally. But now we only care about the y values. -2, and it's a closed dot. 0, and it's a closed dot. 2, and it's a closed dot. 4, and it's a closed dot. Why is this red line not there? Because it's discrete. Everybody cool? So that's worth, these are worth 1 each. Yes, Jenna?
What if we put them both
That's cool if you put them both on the same number line, but you would use different colors, right? Because one's domain and one's range. That's cool. Set notation, that's the squiggly lines, right? Everyone agree? Okay. Now, if this was area, what's the smallest radius I could have? Slightly bigger than 0, yes? You could make a circle that was so small the radius was just a billionth of a millimeter past 0, yes? But there's no a there. It's y. So what numbers can I put in for r? Can I put any number in for r? Even if it's negative? Okay. Yeah. Because it's not, this isn't a circle. It's y and r. It's not area and r. So, could I put -3 there? Could I put 0? Could I put 7? Okay, so r is all real numbers, isn't it? So in set notation, we got two ways to write that. You could go -infinity, less than r, less than positive infinity. Or you could put r is a set of real numbers. I don't care, either one. Now the domain is tricky, isn't it? What's the lowest value for y I could have? 0. Because 0 squared times pi is 0. As soon as I take that number away from 0, what happens? The value goes up, yes? So y must be greater than or equal to 0. Or we could have -infinity less than or equal to y, not equal to y, less than y, and then y has to be less than or equal. Oh no, other way around. I'm sorry. 0 less than or equal to y, less than or equal, less than infinity. Nathan.
Does it matter what way for the less than or equal to you put the arrow?
Yes, absolutely it matters, because those arrows are saying this is the lowest you can go. You have to have the arrows in the right order, or you're not telling me the right information. The smallest value goes on the left, just like on the number line, just like the way we count. And then as a list, well, that's easy. The x's go first, then the y's. What's the domain here? -2, 1, 4, 10. What's the range? This is trickier. What number goes first? No. -3, because we do lowest to highest. 1, 3, 5. Because once we split into domain and range, the fact that they're a pair doesn't matter. That whole set's out of 3. What's the equation here? Cx is the cost, x is the games. We did this in our notes. X and cost. If she bowls 0 games, how much does it cost? Wrong. $3. She has to rent shoes to walk in. If she bowls 1 game, does she pay $3? Plus how much? $2.50. If she bowls 2 games, does she pay $3? Plus how many 250s now? Not squared. 2 250s. What if she bowls X amount of games? Does she pay $3? Plus X times 250. Now, do we put the X first? What do we usually put first? The number. So it's cost equals 250x plus 3. Could I write it as 3 plus 250x? Yes. Either one is correct for 1 mark. Is it a function? This one's going to be worth 2 marks. You get 1 for the yes or no. Yes. Why? You're never going to pay the same. As soon as you bowl another game, you're going to pay more money. 1 input equals 1 output. Or, in terms of this question, an amount of games gets me some different cost. How much did it cost Angela to bowl 4 games? Well, we know it cost her 2.5 times 4 games plus 3, which is $13 for 1 mark, making that out of 4. Making this whole page out of 4 and 3 is 7. Any questions? Nathan? Well, technically, yeah. To write it as a function, you're absolutely right. But on a warm-up like this, I'm not going to kill you for that. That's cool. That's the type of thing that might get you a 4 instead of 3 out of 4. All right. What is the height of each balloon? How tall is, or how far off the ground is my man Alaric? Alaric is closer to the ground than Carlinda, so I'm going to use some color here. There's the red line and the blue line. Who is Alaric, red or blue? Right, Alaric. And how far is he off the ground? 10 meters. And the red line is Carlinda. How far is she off the ground? 30 meters. 1 mark. Half mark if you only got one of them. Does everybody understand why? Everybody? Sweet. How fast is each balloon rising? Now you got to work this out. We'll do the blue one first. Starts at 0, right? And goes up to... Now, what do we usually measure speed in? We could do kilometers per hour, but we're using meters and minutes, yeah? We could do meters per second. As long as we have a distance divided by a time, we're in good shape, right? Everyone agree? So I'm going to look at this blue line and I'm going to say, well, that blue line seems to go right there, yes? And it went up 30 meters in how many minutes? 2 minutes. Is that a rate? Do I have a distance divided by a time? Sure I do. But it's not a very good rate, is it? If you gave me that, would I give you 1, 2, 3, or 4? 2. How could you make it a 3? You would simplify it to be over 1 minute. So I divided that by 2, so I divide that by 2, so it's 15 meters per minute. That would get you a 3. Do we usually do times in speeds in meters per minute? We usually do kilometers per hour, yeah? So to get that in kilometers per hour, this would have to be times 60, yes? So this would be times 60, which would be 15 times 6, 90 kilometers an hour. Everybody understand? Is everybody cool? Oh, I'm sorry. 900. 15 times 60. Ooh, idiot. Huh? Yes, I know, but the speed is still the same. If I drive my car from here to 7-Eleven, did I still drive at 50 kilometers an hour? Even though I only drove a couple of meters? Okay. Everybody cool? Well, you would write 900 kilometers per hour. Right? Everybody good? Yeah? All right. So the best answer there for this graph is 15 meters per minute. Right? Because that's what it's in. It's in meters and minutes. And then the blue or the orange, idiot. The red one is right there. How far up did I go? 30 to 60 is 30 meters in 3 minutes, which would be 10 meters per minute. Also for 1 mark. Everybody cool? When are the balloons at the same height? Right there where they cross over. 4 minutes. And what's the height? 70 meters. Can everybody do it? Everyone can read a graph? Everyone can find a rate? Sweet. And the last question, Toronto to Rome. What does the graph represent? Hint, it's the title. How long it takes to fly from Toronto to Rome. So, that's how lazy I am. What are the domain and range? Which is domain, time or distance? Time. So the domain is what? 0 less than or equal to what goes here? Time, which is less than or equal to 9. How else could we write that? Square bracket, 0. Both of those would be acceptable. What's the range? 0 less than or equal to distance, less than or equal to a little more than 7,000, yeah? Says right there, 7,200. Or 0, 7,200. And how long has the plane been flying when it is 3,900 kilometers from Rome? 3,900 right there. And I slide down 4 hours. And that's worth 3 marks there, 1 for each. So that's 6 on that page. 6 and 7 is 13, and 13 is 26. And 6 and 3 is 9. 35 marks. 6. 1 mark each. Give yourself a mark out of 35, please. Now, if you could please flip to the extra review, because I want you to see the right answers because you did it. Now, listen to me carefully. Is everybody listening? You cannot get in trouble for answering this question I'm about to ask wrong. You cannot get in trouble. So be honest. How many people in the room did not finish this review? Did not finish it. Again, you cannot get in trouble. Okay. So, Sage, if you weren't here, you didn't finish it, right? How many people did not finish? Okay, here is my offer to you. If you finished this review and you score a better percentage than the 1 out of 35, you will tell me the better mark. Does everybody understand? Here is what I mean. Let's say you got 27 out of 35. That is, very quickly, that is 77%. Let's say you do better on this one. I don't know what this one is out of. I can't remember. But let's say you do better than 77%. Then you tell me what you got on this one on your test. Does everyone understand? How will you know if it's better than 77%? Same way you always do. You divide the top one by the bottom one and times 100. Everybody cool? If you didn't finish this one, and you add it all up, and you did better than 77%, I'll still let you take the better mark. But if you didn't finish it, everything that's not done, you got to give yourself what? 0. Does everybody understand? All right, let's go. What is the first question? What is happening from, yes? Oh, I thought she was talking to me. What is happening from D to A? It is A, slowing down and has stopped, because this is a graph of speed versus time, not distance. So her speed is slowing down. What statement describes C to D? B. Speed is not changing, but time carries on. 3. What happens at point B? Right at point B, it is what? C. Highest speed. Right? And number 4, what happens from the start of the graph to point B? D. The skier is increasing speed at a constant rate because it's a pretty straight line. So that's out of 4. Is everybody cool? Can everybody read the graph? Going once. Going twice. Going thrice. If you have let any of these go thrice, what does that tell me? That you are good and ready to write a test. If you let me get to thrice, what does it mean? You're good. If you are not good, should you let me get to thrice? Will I answer your question? Have I always answered your questions on reviews? Excellent. Let us go on then, cabbages. Which of these is a linear relation? What would make it linear? The changes have to be the same. Are all the x's the same? Well, that goes by 2, that goes by 3, that goes by 1. That's not the same. But when I went by 2, 4 to 8 is going by 4, yes? So if it were a linear relation, this change would be how much, what would be the difference here? This would be double, right? So let's check. The first change, 2, -7. So this one, -2, -4. So if this is linear, this jump must be what? Double this jump. What's this jump? 7. What's double this jump? Is that true? Because we don't care about this one, do we? Is that linear? So A is okay. Let's check some others. -2, +12, right? So this one, -4, this would have to be +24, is it? No, so C's out. So C is out, which means C and D are out, which means this is the only one that might work. -2, +6. -4, so this would have to be how much? Double the 6, which is? What's double 6? 12. Was this 12? So is this linear as well? Yes. So it's B. Does everyone understand that? That question always screws kids over because often I put this choice there. None of them. And almost every kid chooses none because of they don't recognize that if this -6 were here, this would be -21, wouldn't it? Everybody understand? Sweet. Going once? Going twice? And I'm going to stretch this one out so everybody has a chance. Going thrice. All right. Which of these is non-linear? It's the same numbers. Or is it? We know C is non-linear because the C's are the same, right? So we better check D. -2, plus 0.6 minus 4. What's double 0.6? 1.2. Is that 1.2? No. So it's C and D this time. Is everybody good? Going once, going twice, going thrice. See what I did there? But it is fair because it's the exact same question as the previous one. Ooh. Which graph is that? Nathan says A. Do people corroborate? Is it A? It's absolutely A, because at 0 time you pay $5. And then you go up 75 cents every kilometer. Right? Right? Okay, so it's A. What is the domain here? Which is domain? X. So what is it? 3579. So what is it? C. Which statement describes this? This tells me it's all the real numbers, yes? This tells me that my domain is X's. So it's not a real life situation, it's just numbers. This tells me, can X be 1? No. Can X be 3? No. So it's the real numbers greater than what? 1 and less than 3, which is D. What is the only? No, 2 is the only natural number. How many real numbers are there between 1 and 3? Infinite. Because all the fractions count. Given that equation, f of 4. So what do I write? I'm going to draw two things. I'm going to draw something red and something in black. Don't say anything till I'm done. Which is correct, red or black? Black, because the x has become a 4, so this x becomes a 4. What is negative 6 times 4? Negative 24. What is negative 24 minus 2? Negative 26. A. A graph whose points are not connected. Discrete. A graph with no space between the points. Continuous. See how I did that question again a second time? That's important. When comparing two quantities, a line used to say that one is not changing. What kind of line is it when one changes and the other doesn't? Horizontal, or it could be vertical, except if your domain is what? Time, because time marches on.
So if we broke vertical, it'd still be right.
Yep. But horizontal is the better answer. All right. So, A, which of those is the domain of 1, 2, 4? 4. That's IV, right? What's B? This is 1. What's C? And what's D? Obviously the last one. 4 marks there. Does everybody understand why? Does everybody understand why? Okay. Which one, Helia? Or all four. I'll do all four. It doesn't matter. I know it's blue. Just you decide which one. You're cool? Everybody's cool? Heather. You mixed up A and B. All right. Well, let's look at A. For A, we're going to look at domain and range. Domain is what? X's or Y's? X's. So there's my first one at 1. There's my last one at 4. And it's a solid line. So it's got to be 1 to 4, yes? Right there, domain, 1 to 4. That's okay. It happens. What is the domain and range of each function here? What can I put in for x? Anything. So x is all real numbers, because no matter what I put in there, it's all okay, yes? What about y? All real numbers, because it's cubed. And a negative number cubed stays negative. Negative number so it's all real numbers. Understand? What if this was squared? What would this have to be? Greater than what? Greater than 0, right? But it's cubed, so it's all real numbers. I have to bake cookies. The oven needs to be at 350 degrees. Cookies will take 12 minutes to bake. What is the domain and range? Domain is what? The domain is the degrees? The domain is the time, isn't it? Isn't it? Okay, so what's the lowest amount of time? 0. What's the highest amount of time? 12. Could I write that another way? 0 less than or equal to what? Time less than or equal to what? 12. What's the domain or the range? What's the range? What's the only temperature the cookies bake at? 350. Done. When the cookies are in, the oven is at 350. It doesn't change. What if I was graphing the entire process? Would the temperature have to go up? From what? 0? You're cooking your cookies at 0 degrees? Room temperature, which would be what? About 20. In our room right now, Jordan, how warm is it? So our graph would go from 22.8 Celsius to 350 degrees Fahrenheit, not Celsius. 350 Fahrenheit would destroy those cookies. And this one, domain is what? What can I put in for x? Anything, because I can square any number, right? What's my range? Everything greater than 0? 1? What do I get if I put 0 in for x? 0 squared is 0 minus 2? Yeah. So what's the range? Y has to be what? Greater than or equal to negative 2. How else could I write it? Negative 2 less than or equal to y, less than or equal to what? Or less than what? How far can this number go? Infinity. Those are worth 1 each. Half a mark if you only got the domain or the range. So that page out of 7. Describe what's happening for each line segment. So I need how many sentences here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? Now, again, this is a good question where I could do the extra, right? You could get 4 out of 4 here, yeah? Right? But it's going to be out of 3 marks. What do I need? What is happening here? I'm driving. How do you know? I'm running out of gas. So A to B is driving. B to C, I fill. C, D. No, C to D, the green. I drive. Do I drive faster or slower, do you think? Or the same? That green line is the same steepness as this red line? I think it looks a little steeper. If I'm driving faster, am I using more or less gas? More. Okay. So you could add that in. What happens from D to E? D to E, I stop for coffee because the gas isn't going out at all. E to F, I drive. And F to G, do I fill it all the way up? Yep, because it's to the same number. I fill. That would get you 3 out of 3. How could you get 4? You would tell me some rates. Everybody understand? The ones that are different. How much gas was in the tank at the start of the journey? 25 liters. Was it full? No. Why? Because it may not be, but we filled it past 25, right? Because we fit 30 liters later. That gets you 2 marks. 1 for the yes or no. Now, you've already seen this question, yes? Remember what it had to look like. Started at the top, down a bit, then down less, then down a lot for recess, then what? Fill up, then very little, then what happens at lunch? Right down, then down very little. What happens at 1 o'clock or at 4 p.m.? Fills up. What happens from 4 to 5? Might go down a bit. And what happens at 5? Stays flat. As long as it looks something like that, you're getting your whole 2 marks. Anything like that. As long as you've got some different rates going down and a very steep jump up, I would give you your full 2. Everybody cool? That page out of 3 and 2 is 7 again. So, graph it. Those are the X, those are the Y's, yes? 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. 10, 20, 30, negative 30, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. They're both going up by 10s. Which one is tickets? Which one is profit? I've already told you tickets are on the X. Why are tickets the independent variable? Ryland. Right. You don't make profit if you don't sell tickets. So if I sell no tickets, or if I only sell 10 tickets, I'm down here at negative 30. How, if I'm selling tickets, have I lost money? You got to pay to put the performance on, right? You got to pay to print the tickets. You got to pay to blah, 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 blah. Yes? What's the next point on the graph? 20 and negative 10. What's the next point on the graph? 30 and 10. Next point, 40 and 30. Next point, 50 and 50. So I've graphed it. Have I finished graphing it? Why should I put a line? I can sell 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 tickets, can't I? Technically, should this be 10 little dots? If I put 10 little dots, what does it appear to be? It appears as a line, doesn't it? So I would draw the line. But is it actually continuous? No. Why not? You can't sell half a ticket. Does everybody understand that point? Even though I drew a line, it's not continuous. Because, look, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 dots. I only should have had 10. Now, from where you're sitting, that looks pretty darn close to a line, yes? If I had a giant graph, it would be easy. I could put dots, couldn't I? But if the graph was smaller, like if this was where 20 was, there's no way I could fit 10 dots there, could I? Okay, so there's the graph for 1. Linear or nonlinear? Linear. Why? Constant change. Every 1 ticket I sell gets me $2 more. 1 ticket equals $2. All the way. Discrete or continuous? Technically, discrete. Why? Can't sell half a ticket. Well, it's money. What is the domain and range? What's the lowest amount of tickets I can sell? 0 for domain. What's the highest? That's a big stadium. Capacity of the building, yes? Does it say? So let's assume it's 50. That's the best assumption, yes? Because it can't be infinity. And what's the range? What's the lowest amount of money I could make? I can lose money. Negative 30, less than or equal to dollars, less than or equal to? What's the most money I can make? 50. Negative people can't buy tickets, Nathan. Oh, good point. Good point. What should this really be? Thank you. It should really be minus 50. Don't touch yourself, Nathan. You're on fire. Devin, look out. Good thing you're wearing a hoodie. You can stop, drop, and roll. You'll be fine. So that's, how many tickets must be sold to break even? How many, Sam? 25. Halfway between 20 and 30 and halfway between 10 and negative 10. 25. So that's worth 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 marks. And lastly, my man Clark. Write the function. If I'm going to have a function, I need how many variables? 2. What are the 2 things that change for Clark? Number of fences and money, right? Which is the IV? What's over here? Fences, and what's over here? Money. Or we said P is profit. So, if he paints 0 fences, how much has he spent? Wrong. Read the question. Not quite. His profit is negative 6, isn't it? Because he only bought paintbrushes. Right? Right? If he paints 1 fence, he spent the negative $6, and how much more? He's spent $16 on paint, right? Plus, how much money does he make? Read the question. 40, right? Which means each fence is worth the negative $6. How much does he make on the fence? Negative $6 plus how much? What's negative 16 plus 40? 24. Does everybody understand that? He makes $40, but each fence costs him $16. So he's really only making $24, right? What if he paints 2 fences? Has he still spent the -6? But he only had to spend that once because that's for brushes, right? Plus 24. How many fences now? Times 2. Agreed? What if it's 3? Did he still spend the $6? Plus 24 per fence times how many fences? 3. What if it was F fences? -6 plus 24F. Now, would we write our function that way? We don't like writing it that way. So what would it really be? Profit of F equals 24F minus 6. Everybody understand? So now the table becomes really easy, right? Fence, profit. 0, what is it? -6. 1, what's 1? 24 minus 6. 18, what's 2? 42, what's 3? 66, what's 4? What are we going up by each time? What are we going up by each time? 24, so this must be 90, and this must be 114. How much profit would he earn if he painted 15 fences? Where does the 15 go? For F or for PF? F. So C is 24 times 15 minus 6. 24 times 15 is 240 and 340, 360? Yeah. $354, I think. I just did that in my head very quickly. I would trust somebody. I would check my calculator if I were you. Yep. And D, where does the 474 go? For P of F or for F? P of F, 474, 24F minus 6. Add 6 to both sides. 480 equals 24F. How many fences did he paint? 480 divided by 24, which is 20. And that one is out of 4. Meaning this second review is out of 4 and 5 is 9, and 7 is 16, and 7 more is 23. Oh, wait, that page is out of 8. There was one multiple choice there. So that's 24. And the first page, or 24, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 24 and 6 is 30. Oh, this one's out of 36. That's funny. Almost 35. Should have taken away one more mark somewhere. So whatever you got here, if it's almost the same as what you got in the last one, it doesn't matter what you tell me. If it's significantly better than 27, you want to tell me this number on tomorrow's test. Do you all understand? You give me the better number. What? No. Just tell me the number. Okay? You know what? Let's just make this one out of 35. I'll take one mark out of it somewhere. Give me the bigger number. They're both out of 35. You give me your better score. I cannot be more fair than that. Everybody cool? When do we write this test? Tomorrow. When can you check this over? Tonight. When? The second I upload it. And it will upload the second this discussion ends. I will start uploading it. Huh? As soon as I go once, twice, thrice. Because if I don't do that, then I don't have a guarantee that you all know what you're doing. And when you do your test tomorrow, I would feel bad about myself. Oh, I'm well aware, Sage. But if I've done my job, then who's the only people in the room that haven't done their job if I've done mine? You guys. Can I do your job? Can you do my job? No. Guaranteed. Going once. Going twice. Going thrice. Last chance to ask me anything. Is there a list for this unit of everything you need to do? Be able to do? There is. Where does that list live? On page 181. If you can't do something on page 181, where will you find out how to do it? You could watch the videos. You could ask me. When could you ask me? You're having a test tomorrow. You could ask right now. Could you ask after school today? It's rugby season. Am I usually here after school in rugby season? Sometimes. Should you bank on it? No. Is your test tomorrow in class or is it before school? It's in class. So when would be a time you could ask me? Before school. There's no X block on Tuesdays. No. I'm sure you do. All right? Is everybody good? Okay. We are done. Now, as I said, when you go to the next unit, which is, I don't remember what page is, about page 183, no, 188 maybe? 187? Ooh, that's embarrassing that it's 187. That's police speak for murder. Nathan, no flies on you. It is the same thing. You know why? Because all math is a pattern. It's all numbers. All math we do is all the same thing because it's all numbers. So, what time is it? 12:46. Class ends at 1:02? 1:01? Just at 1 straight up? Give me one moment. Yes. The first 3 things we do will be very helpful for you on your test, so I'm going to do them and then I'm going to stop. All righty. Everybody, please, in the blank space, draw one of those. What is this line? X. What is this line? Y. Good. Malik. Absa Smurfly. Everybody is cool with that, yes? Now listen to me carefully. I'm not going to draw the next line. I want all of you to draw a straight line that hits both of these lines. I do not care how you do it or where you put it. I want you all to draw one straight line that touches both the X and the Y. That would be fine. It would make it difficult to understand the lecture I'm about to give you, but it would still work. I will wait a second. How many grade 10s does it take to draw a straight line? All right, everybody ready? I am going to draw my line there. Now, With blue ink, I'm going to put a dot on my x-intercept. Which is it? It is this one. Agreed? With pink ink, because I like that it rhymed, I'm going to put a dot on my y-intercept, which is there. Everyone agree? Okay. What can you tell me about that point? It is the x-intercept. What are its coordinates? We know that it is positive x. Why can you not tell me more than that? Because there's no numbers. You have no idea where I am there. But what is the y coordinate? No, the y coordinate is only 0. Does everybody understand? Everybody cool? Okay. Now, what do you know about the pink one? Do you know its x value? It's 0. What is its y value? Negative y. Does everybody understand? Now, what if I drew that line? What would the x-intercept be? Negative x, 0, right? And what would the y-intercept be? 0, positive y, yes? Now that should tell you something. Now that you've seen it twice, what do you know about every single x-intercept? They are always what coordinates? No, because this is negative x, 0. They all, an x-intercept has coordinates of what? Of positive or negative x and what? 0. What is every single y-intercept? 0 and positive or negative y. Which y-intercepts follow that rule? All of them. What if my line was, I got to use a color I haven't used yet. What if my line was curvy? Is that a y-intercept? What is its coordinate? 0, negative y. How many x-intercepts does that curvy line have? How many? 1, 2, 3, 4. What are all of them? X, positive or negative x, and 0. Which ones? All of them. What if I put a fraction in? Still 0 and or x 0. What if I put a square root in? Still x 0. What if I put an exponent in? Still x 0. When is the x-intercept x comma 0? Always. Do you understand? All right. Let us carry on then, cabbages. What is every single x-intercept? We don't need positive or negative x. It's just x and 0, right? X, 0. What is every single y-intercept? 0, y. Correct? Now, what if I drew a t-chart? What could I put here? There are two values I can put in this column right now. What are they? X and 0. What can I put here? 0 and y. Agreed? What do I have right there? That equation. Right now it's in function notation, yes? But function notation is just x and y, isn't it? Isn't it? Input, outputs. So how could I rewrite that? Y equals what? Everyone cool? All right. What does that say? What is x? No. X is x. 2x plus 3. What's y? 0. What's my job? What's my job when I'm faced with something written like that? Algebra. To get x alone, yes? Okay. So how would I do that? Minus 3 minus 3. Negative 3 equals 2x. Now what? Divide by 2. Negative 3 over 2 equals x. What do you see right there? What is that? But x is negative 3 over 2. So what can I write there instead now? Negative 3 over 2. Everyone agree? Now, does that give me coordinates for my graph? Is there an x and a y? So is my x-intercept not, and I will keep blue, negative 3/2, 0. Can I put that on the graph? I shouldn't yet. Why, Sage? There's a fraction. If the y's aren't fractions, I got to be careful here, don't I? So I'm going to wait a minute. What does that say? 0y. Well, don't I have y equals 2x plus 3? What's the x value? So what do I put there? 0. Y equals 2 times 0 plus 3. 2 times 0, what happens? Disappears. So y equals what? 3. Well, if y equals 3 and that's a y, what can I write there? 3. So what's my y-intercept? No. 0, 3. Now, Sage has said wisely, wait. Sage has said sagely, because he has said it wisely and his name is Sage. How else could he say something? Everything Sage says is said sagely because he's Sage. But seriously, folks, now we're in trouble, right? Because the x's need to be fractions, yeah? So all I do is this. That isn't 1 anymore. What's that? No, that's a half. So what's that? 1. So what's that? 1.5. So there's my first dot at negative 3/2, 0, yes? Now once I do that, I've said that each little square is worth a half, right? So where do I go for 3? How far up do I have to go? 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And now what do I do with those 2 dots? Connect them. Because I'm done. Your homework, which is due when? No, you have a test tomorrow. Your homework is due Wednesday. Your homework is to do that and that. 2 questions by Wednesday. It is, Nathan, and I'm going to do a homework check. And do you know what is going to happen? I'm going to put a bunch of X minuses. Oh, I'm well aware what you mean.